Want the weird, spooky, or just plain unexplainable? Subscribe and click notify. Our strange world. We're here for balanced, reasoned analysis.
Throughout human history, the notion of seeing one's exact double has been cloaked in mystery, dread, and eerie fascination. These ghostly counterparts, doppelgängers, as they've come to be known, occupy a unique and disquieting corner of paranormal folklore. Their presence spans millennia, cultures, and continents, whispering of duality, fate, and the thin veil between the spiritual and the real. Whether glimpsed in a mirror, across a room, or witnessed by others, these apparitions unsettle not merely because of their physical mimicry, but because of what they seem to portend. In ancient times, seeing a doppelganger was considered a harbinger of doom. In modern times, it has become the subject of both metaphysical speculation and psychological intrigue. But across time, one thing remains certain: encounters with a doppelganger are never ordinary and never forgotten. The term doppelganger itself was first coined in 1796 by German author John Paul, meaning double walker. But the concept reaches far beyond language. In ancient Egyptian belief systems, the ka was a spiritual double, an invisible twin that accompanied each person from birth to death and beyond. The ka could interact with the world of the living and was often depicted in funerary art. Meanwhile, Norse mythology offered the vardøger, a forerunner spirit that would arrive in a place before the actual person did, performing their actions in advance like a ghostly rehearsal. Similarly, in Slavic folklore, the doinik would appear to a person or their family as a warning of imminent death. Across the globe, indigenous peoples, mystics and shamans have described doubles or shadow selves, always in tones of reverence, fear, or spiritual caution. In more recent centuries, documented sightings of doppelgangers have intensified public curiosity. The case of Émilie Saget, a 19th century French teacher, remains one of the most unsettling accounts. In 1845, while employed at a boarding school in Latvia, Saget's students began seeing a second version of her, one that mimicked her movements with a slight delay, often appearing beside her in class or walking independently through the school. On one occasion, all 42 students witnessed both versions simultaneously. What's more chilling is that while this phantom copy moved and behaved like Seiji, it did not speak, and Seiji herself seemed to weaken whenever it appeared. Despite her qualifications and popularity, the school asked her to leave. She had already been dismissed from 18 schools before, all due to similar disturbances. Another striking incident surrounds Vice Admiral Sir George Tryon, a disciplined and no-nonsense officer of the British Royal Navy. In 1893, while commanding the HMS Victoria near Syria, Tryon made a questionable maneuver that led to a deadly collision and his subsequent drowning. That very evening, guests at his London home swore they saw him walk silently through the front hall and ascend the stairs just moments after the accident occurred, well before news of his death could have reached England. His wife, reportedly unaware of his demise at the time, fainted upon seeing him. The event was so widely witnessed that it was documented in naval records and newspapers. Here, the doppelganger did not merely mirror life, but walked between realms, hinting at the intersection of spirit, time, and memory. Unlike identical twins, doppelgangers are not born, they appear. Identical twins share DNA and familial upbringing. Doppelgangers are unrelated but strikingly similar in appearance, posture, and even habits. While science once doubted their existence, modern face recognition technology and biometric analysis have revealed that finding someone who looks exactly like you, with identical facial geometry and body structure, is astronomically rare. Some researchers put the odds at 1 in a trillion. Yet stories of people meeting perfect strangers who look exactly like them continue to emerge worldwide, often accompanied by an eerie sense of unease or confusion. It's not merely the likeness, it's the way these doubles seem to echo something deeper. Spiritual traditions add layers of meaning to the phenomenon. In Islamic belief, the qarin is a spiritual companion assigned at birth. Often unseen, it may whisper negative thoughts or temptations, subtly influencing behavior. Some Islamic scholars suggest that a person's qarin may appear externally under specific spiritual or emotional conditions. Tibetan traditions also recognize energy doubles, beings that mimic or reflect your inner state. They may protect or mislead depending on the harmony or dissonance within your own soul. In many African cultures, encountering your own double is a direct message from the ancestors or a sign that your life path is about to change irrevocably. The dangers associated with doppelgangers are not just metaphysical, they extend to the psychological and existential. Witnessing your own double, according to some psychiatric studies, can trigger a breakdown of personal identity. Cases of heautoscopy, a hallucination in which individuals see their own body from a distance, are often linked with epilepsy or trauma. Yet, in the doppelganger narratives, there's a persistent sense that something more than mental illness is at play. The consistency of these sightings, across cultures, centuries, and belief systems, suggests an archetype, a hidden pattern in the human psyche that our current scientific language cannot fully explain. The double may be more than a trick of the brain, it may be a mirror held up by the universe itself. This leads to the most compelling aspect of the doppelganger, its symbolic resonance. In Carl Jung's theory of the shadow self, the double represents the parts of ourselves we deny or suppress. The appearance of a doppelganger may be interpreted as a confrontation with that shadow, especially during moments of intense stress, transition, or spiritual awakening. Here, the experience is not an external phenomenon, but an internal reckoning, one that manifests visibly. In that sense, the danger is not only that you might see your double, but that you might be forced to reckon with what it reveals about you. Across the globe, people continue to report eerie encounters with their doubles. In Japan, stories of the Kagamusha, the shadow warrior who protects or replaces a person, have been told for generations. Native American and First Nations communities speak of spirit twins often appearing in visions or moments of crisis. In parts of South America, shamans claim to have encountered their own doubles during ayahuasca journeys, seeing them as both guidance and warning. Despite the cultural differences, one thread binds these tales: the double always signifies a shift, a change, whether in the spiritual, emotional, or mortal plane. Religious interpretations vary but frequently carry a warning. In Christianity, the concept of a double can be linked with temptation or demonic mimicry, Lucifer as the great deceiver taking on familiar forms. In Judaism, the golem legend, a being created in the likeness of man, touches on the dangers of imitation and the limits of divine authority. In Islam, the qarin may be benign or malicious, depending on the moral and spiritual state of its human counterpart. Faiths across the world agree on this much. To see your own double is no small matter. It is a spiritual event, often with consequences. Why then do some people encounter their doppelganger while others never do? Is it fate, spiritual frequency, psychological projection, or some confluence of all three? No scientific study has yet been able to account for the persistence, power, and precision of these sightings. What's clear is that doppelgangers are not merely folklore, they are deeply embedded in the architecture of human fear, identity, and mystery. As we peer further into the mysteries of consciousness, soul, and parallel dimensions, perhaps one day we'll understand the message these doubles carry. Until then, their silent stare continues to haunt the corridors of belief.
Want the weird, spooky, or just plain unexplainable? Subscribe and click notify. Our strange world. We're here for balanced, reasoned analysis.